everybody, this is Max Farrell from DexFXMarkets.com. Today is the 3rd of March, 2020, and we're kind of running behind a little bit. We got our brand new trading room on through Discord. We're in Trading Live right now, getting all of our stuff. I have a lot of groups I'm a part of because I'm in a gaming network, right? But we got our new thing here. Make sure that you watch our new Discord rules and all that kind of stuff. But we're in trading. Now, we got into a few trades here. Let's get over to the 1 hour chart and look. We're on a Audi JPY and a USD CAD, okay, for a 2 hour trade because we had a little bit of news pockets happening this morning. I also traded the Audi JPY a little tighter on this process to see if we could actually make that work. And it looks like it's doing okay. A little tight, but we still got about an hour left. Now, because we went at that 2 hour mark, we got the 10 o'clock hour about to happen, and we're looking at making a few trades. So the Audi JPY on a 2 hour looked pretty sweet to us because it had some movement to it and also had some money on it already. So this particular trade here, normally because the hour was all the way down here, we would have came up to right around this area, the tops of these wicks, and the process here where the prices bounced off that level as well. And that was at 70.92, which we put onto our demo. But we took a little bit of caution and we came back to 71, I forget what it was already, 71.02. So we came back up to this area a little bit, like another deviation out, a couple deviations out, just to kind of give it a little bit of girth. Now, we did that. If we would have been here at 70.92, we went out of the money for a little while. We could have probably gotten to an in-the-money trade at that point and made some money, did some scalp outs, all that kind of stuff, which is an advanced way of trading. And I will put videos out about that in future videos, of course. But we got about an hour left on these trades. And you're going to be with me while the top of the hour hits, and we're going to go back down the line to see if we can find something else. I purposely left off. I trade about 4 contracts at any one time on this type of balance for 2,600. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, right? It's like, but it's 4 times 7, right? 2,800. All right, you get it. So we do that because we don't want to create a point where we're risking any. You know, those four contracts are about $280, and we don't want to risk more than 10% of our, a little bit more than 10%, but like 10 to 12% in that area of our balance at any one time. So that's why we do it in that way. But I got 2 contracts going on now for a 2 hour trade, and I'm going to come back in and see if I can find another 2 trades to be on, or 1 for 2 contracts. Right? You see how I'm keeping that little stuffed there, so kind of keeps us a little bit safe, right? So we're still floating in pretty good. We're in the green on both of these trades. Got one for a little bit more at the $29 level, so I was very excited about that. So we're going to see what we can come up with at the top of the hour that's going to hit here in just a second. All right. The other was the USD CAD on the 2 hour. And on this one, we stuffed in a little bit as well. We came back up. Let me get that number for you. 33.79. And if you see 33.79 is that area, is that stronger hilted area. Right now, I didn't have these bars to go by before. It was all the way down here. So I came here, but then I came up 1 deviation to the 79, which is right here. Okay, and that's the deviation I came up to. I gave myself just a little bit extra room for movement in case it did do that. Now, it could have not filled. You know, it could have maybe not bounced up there at all. But you can kind of see if I did come to where we wanted to put it at the 33.68, we would have had a, because I would have came up to here, we would have came up to right about there, and it'd be 33.70 at that point. But look at that. This thing just dropped off the face of the earth, being at the top of the hour. Let's jump over to the 1 hours and have a look. Yeah, look at this. This is crazy. There's no way that I'm getting it into the, let me see what the Audi JPY is doing right now. Oh my God. That is so crazy. Wow, that really just exploded. Yeah. Well, the USD is winning, and the Audi JPY is going to take it in the pants there. That's crazy. Look at that. Look at that market. This is what I mean. This week is so supernatural right at the moment. Okay, this is, I don't know what's going on. There is no news on the Audi. The Audi is a liquid pair, is a commodity pair. The Audi JPY is based around the gold market, of course. We'll see if we get any shrinkage from this point, but it's got to come down pretty far right now, 20 something pips. all the way back down to here. I'm pretty sure it will shrink, but who knows from this level. All right. So we're going to wait right now because that's a pretty hefty. I'm looking at the market all the way around now to see if there's any other mass movement. Yeah, the euro's moving super strong and against it. I don't know what's going on right now, but something majorly dramatic happened at this time. So that's pretty wild. That is pretty wild. Great Britain pound. Everything has exploded right at the moment. And I'm videotaping it right now. That's huge. All this is super, super, super huge. The only one that hasn't done anything is the USD JPY. Just well, maybe it has moved a little bit from that position. So we're going to come back in at the top of the hour to see what we can find. I'm not even going to think about getting into the market right now, and take that into the take that in consideration. That's pretty crazy. So we'll see what happens to that process. But we really got punched a little bit in the seat of the pants on that Audi JPY. That's just a crazy movement. There's no way we could have anticipated that process. Let me go over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go up to the Audi JPY here. Yeah, this bar is a major reaction bar that's happening. Hopefully we'll get some shrinkage back with that. If not, then that's our new high, and that's what it is. Again, there's nothing in the news section happening. We had a little bit of stuff happening here, but that shouldn't have pushed that out that far like that. There's something else that happened with the Audi. So we'll find that out later. All right, well, I'm going to pause now, and we'll come back at the top of the hour and see what we have. But that's what the Dex Atomic is using your relationships with previous pricing. If something happens to like this extent, which we don't know what the hell just happened, but it affected the euro, it affected whatever just happened, punch this in the face pretty hard. All right, so we're going to see what happens with the Audi JPY. Does it take this as a new springboard, or does it try to retract some to come from this level? But can it take the next hour to trickle down and get back down to right around here where it needs to be for us to be able to win our trade? If we were to go, actually, here's the thing. If I go back into Nadex, what would be available for that 11 o'clock? It's 71.02. It's $15. So guess what? I'm going to spend $30 on this because we got an hour left. Okay, I'm going to spend $30 on that. I just spent $30 to win $160 or $178 at that point. Now, if it does all three of them wins, then we win $180 at that point or something to that effect. But what this will also do, as this starts to trickle down, it will give me an effect of premium, even if it's not in the money. It might reduce this amount down, okay? Because remember, if I can get down below what was my original loss of $70-something, that's all I really want, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do a special little trick here. I'm going to create a working order to take profit because this thing's going to move fast. If it does drop, and it does drop back down to that original 7,100 level, then what it's going to do is it's going to hit it fast. So I'm not greedy. I don't need to have, mass profit in here just to kind of make me feel better about myself, right? So what am I looking for per contract? I'm looking for about $25 per contract at that point, right? So how do we do this? Well, we sold it for $65, okay? So we need to buy it for $25 less, right? Because you gotta sell it higher than you bought it for. Make sense? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put 3 contracts in here for $25 less than 65, right? And so what is that? That is 40, right? So what we're going to put down here is like 38, okay? And that'll give us our buying power in here to that if it does drop, which is it's actually doing a pretty good at dropping right now. And again, this is where kind of greed gets a little bit the better of us, right? Do we do this? Do we let this thing go do its thing, and we miss our opportunity for it to get down to say like $38, and then we miss out on that opportunity to make 75 right now? Because right now we're going to be under the mainline price here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to place the order. We're going to close it out. And what this is going to do, because I'm going to be buying them for 38, all right? If we do that outright, right? 65.5 minus, I remember I want to make $25 per each one. So it's about $40, right? So 40, 50. So I would, with the 38, I'd probably pay for some of my fees and stuff. That's per contract, okay? So now it's jumping back up and doing its thing. I'm going to keep this on for just in case. Okay, if that for the next hour, if it does do that, if it does drop down to that pricing factor for this profit loss side, then I'm golden, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to get into any more trades. That'll mean that I've won all three on those. See, this one's like crazy. It's like for the 11 o'clock hour. Its market is so volatile right now. Look at this. We got we got, if I come over to my 2-hour trade, Auto USD right here, Auto GPY, it doesn't look like it's shrunk back anything on the chart because it hasn't been within that 15 minutes yet. But I'm pretty sure that we can probably pull down right about to here if it does give me some pushback. But again, I bought in for the other, those two 15s, right? So $30 plus the 75 is about $100. If I were to try to let this thing go completely, I've created a one-to-one buying relationship now at this point. Now, normally I wouldn't do that, but because it's being so volatile, you never know. But what I also have done, okay, is that I've backed it up a little bit with a $75 win. Okay, if it can get me my price down to that point, I'll take this win because it may push down. It may push down to that level and then try to creep back up. But if it pops down to that level at the last second, we learned this lesson last week. Then if I had had this on, I would have made 75 instead of losing 300. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all for taking that. So this is the only time that I really approve a scalp out mentality. Back up to 71.40 again. All right, I'm not going to sit here and commentate and have a look at it and stuff. So I'm going to pop out and stop the video here, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes before the top of the hour. All right, I'm Max. We'll see you in a minute. Just to let you know, we don't actually have to get down to the 7102 to actually get into money. As you see now, we're down to 71.20, and we're at minus 32. For those brave of heart, you can make 30 from here. You could be just a couple bucks. You could watch this whole thing out right now, right? But if you have the information, this is just now we're playing the odds now. We're no longer looking at levels and maintaining levels. Something dramatic happened to push the market this way and for it to come back in down to this zone. This is where it wants to live, in this zone. But now we're playing odds and premium on our numbers, right? Because we were getting in. I didn't do that here on this demo test here. Yeah, because now I can't, because now it's, oh wow. We're probably about to get bought out on this. Now we're down to 71.02. The moment we fall down below this thing, here it is right there. Where we're getting there. This will get up to about $75 at that point. If we can get to that point, go on, keep bouncing, keep going down, keep going down, keep going down. And this is what happened the other day. There we go, there we go, there we go. Come on. Under 71, there's 70, there's 99. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Come on, you can do it. Big record, come on. Keep going, 96, 96. I'm almost tempted to take this off, but I know the fluctuation of the market right now is pretty bad. We're going to let this thing pick up, do its job. Get in there and do its job. Will it get down to that point? Place order. Yep. I just closed it out manually because there was an indifference happening right now. Look, so we're sitting down at 71.01 right now. That's fine, but we got $69 for that. Okay, so we won that deal. We had to do an audible. Yes, could it? But no. But look how much it's fluctuating. It wasn't hitting that 75 number. It was dancing all around it. So I just took an audible at that point just to kind of get away from it. This is too volatile to be around. This is too volatile to be in that process. And look how much it is jumping everywhere. If we go back up to the pair, look at this. This thing went from 71.01 to 40. This is 50 pips jump only in a short period of time to come all the way back down to here again. Now, we made some money, but we made some money dirty. Right? Now look, it's back up to 71.06 again. You see how, oh, right, wrong. Oh no, that's the audit. You see, so we'd be immediately in the losing again. It's meant to do that. It keeps trying to do that, right? That's what this market is all about, is to push the big. You see how now it's going to say, all right, well, I set the path. It's going to play around with you for a little while. Something's happening in Australia, somewhere, something, right? Because the Auto USD doing the same thing, right? But even more, it's not having a pullback. So the USD it's failing with it. So it's failing as fast as it's growing, but the JPY is what's pulling this thing back. Right? Now the JPY, look, now it looks all red, right? It looks like hasn't really done anything too much, right? Looks like we're just growing here. Oh, it just has a big wick. No, this was a battle that happened off, right? And so what we did, if we didn't put the money on the OTM like that to make it a 1-to-1, we wouldn't have gotten that money. We wouldn't have gotten that process. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure that this Audi JPY is going to fail over the next 41 minutes, but right now we've made our money. We've just made our money from that point. And I'm going to take that account information out, and I'll be right back. Okay. So we got our money out. I'm going to put it over on Live Atomic. We were supposed to do this yesterday too. We do that yesterday? Yeah, it looks like we did. I'm going to put it on here. This is a crazy push. Here's that USD CAD. We'll leave that one here for now as we're waiting for all this stuff down here to close out. All this closed out. Now, this is just brilliant. We were able to get in for a very low amount in case we did have pullback. We only made $35, right? Off of all that nonsense that was there. We only made $35. But what didn't we lose? Because look how fast it moved. It moved so fast, it wasn't even funny. We only made $35 out of that process, but that's okay. Okay? Because we didn't lose. Let's see, what's that? 75, 15, 15, so 105. We didn't lose 105 at that point. So we won 35. So I'm okay with that. So now we get this little bugger, this USD CAD, to finish off its little job here at the top of the hour. Okay. Sitting at 33.60. So I don't think it's 33.59, 33.79. So about 19 pips off with about 40 minutes left. Premium's all out of it. So it should do something. All right. So that was huge. That was a big run, a big success. I'm going to try to isolate that value and show you how to do that particular process. So it's a little bit tender, but it works. It works when the price goes out like that in a volatile movement. And if you can feel the idea of the balance itself and what it's supposed to do, then you know that if you put on that extra $30 is what gave us the premium, right? When we risked that $30 with $85 potential profit for two of them, that's what gave us our premium as it was dropping in and out. Now, unfortunately, if we would have tried to stay with that, if I took that other off and didn't do what I just did, we wouldn't be winning this trade at all. This would be a loss. We learned this lesson the other day with the Auto USD when it did the same exact thing. It went all the way up. It got out of the money. We bought a whole bunch of contracts. We bought 2 more contracts on for the other side, I think 3 or something like that, to where it was like, if we would have won, we would have won 300, and if we would have lost, we would have lost 300. And it like dipped. It was down below. It was actually down below the number. And I took it off, and I'm like, all right, well, we won't buy out right now. We'll just let it ride. And big mistake. I should have went in for my $25 per contract, what have you. Now, if I would have left that on today, we had to choose an audible, like you've seen, and get it to a point where it was like, we're not going to be able to, it's not going to hit that 75. So let's get out. And we did. And thank God. That's where we're at. All right. We'll be back at the top of the hour to watch this little USD CAD win. And if you're watching in Discord, I didn't go live again in Discord. But either way, make sure that I really do hope you enjoy these little tradings and what we're doing. We did pretty well right now. You also see my balance up here. I normally don't like to have my balance on. You'll probably see me have it like this at times, just so I can show you what the positional value is. I wish we had that up there so you could have seen that the entire time. You get lost in the balance, whether or not it's too much or not enough or what have you. I have tens of thousands of dollars in the bank that I can utilize at any one time. I don't put my entire net worth into my fucking Nadex account, okay? I had a couple of idiots try to come and attack me with that mentality. If I want to put $20,000 in this thing, I could. But Nadex is a great company. I just don't put all my assets over there, because once I do, I bind those assets to this process. So if I'm moving it in and out, right, I don't have free range of that money. So, but I get to know what I have in here and what I need to make each month. Okay? All right. I'm Max. This is Dex. We'll be back in just a minute. Hey everybody, it's Trader Max. We're back here with the top of the hour, right here at 10:58. We're pretty far into winning this trade right now, and with all the excitement that happened before, I just got to let you guys know that that was pretty exciting for me to watch it unfold. I made a trade with the Audi USD last week that was almost like identical to that process, but I didn't take the trade out. So I ended up losing the bulk of that possibilities in there when I could have walked away with some money, right, at that point. So I've learned those lessons, and that lesson showed me that I could have won, excuse me, $35 or $53, whatever it was. I forget what it was. What did we end up winning on that particular trade? We won $35 on that particular trade. And that was good because the timing and the way everything was going, we could see the Audi is sitting up at 23, 71.23 right now. There was no way any of this other stuff would have won. We would have been so far out on that deviation. So when we get heavy times like this, like in an NFP week, like a block of news, we know that it's imperative. Here's the win, 26 seconds. We got 33.37 at 33.79. There's no way this thing is going to lose now at this point. So we're going to jump in and do a market read for the top of the hour and see if there's anything else that we can get into. But the market has been sort of pulling back. We can't do a 1 hour. Well, actually, we can do a 2 hour trade system, which I'm probably going to stay with today. As you see, this arrow popped up on this area. We ended up getting pretty good at getting those prices down all the way, and it stayed at that deviation there. So let's get over to the 2 hour and see what we can get on board here. We're on the Audi JPY. I'm kind of staying away from right now. Anything Audi at the moment, and I think anything that has like a super huge bar on it at this moment is something I'm probably going to stay away from. Like this movement right here, I'm going to stay away from. This may disqualify us from trading for this next couple of hours. I think so. I think I'm going to pull back, try to come back at 1 o'clock to try to trade the 2 hour charts from that solution. Stay back to the 1 o'clock hour. Because there's nothing that seems to be unaffected by this big, huge push that's happened. Yeah, everything's been commanded and punched in the face for some reason or another. And we'll find out what that is later. Maybe. Who knows? We may never find out what it is, right? These big movements happen on occasion, and we're on a 15-minute chart, right? So when this does happen, we got to look at how's the market responding to this process. Now, these 2 hour, all these events, look, all these 2 hour have won. I mean, this one was pretty damn close, right? But it ended up getting back into its thing for the USD. Let me show you here. This is 9 o'clock. If we would have gotten into this trade, we would have came back to this deviation, right? And it would have gotten filled and definitely won. So I'm going to stay with the 2 hour mentality when we get into these NFP weeks, as you can kind of see. And that Audi JPY at that 2 hour was incredible, right? It ended up losing overall, okay? It ended up losing overall as the trade went out of the money and then came back in, right? So easily enough, it then started to crawl back up and do its thing again, right? But if at this level, the 7102 area up here was the deviation that we put out pretty far, but because it came back in, because it went out and came back in, that's what got us. That's what got us to our. It went all the way out and then came back in. You see, and that's what led us to that process. So I hope this helps you. I look forward to seeing you next time. We'll be back here in about a couple of hours, but that'll be a new video. All right, because we have nothing on the board right now. Oh, let me pause and tally up what we've won so far. Okay, here we go. Plop in that last little bit there. Put it up here where it belongs. Spread these out just a little bit. I spread my wings. I'm a peacock and I need to fly. Bad reference. Okay, there we go. So far for this morning, $62.25. Based out pretty good. You know, we did okay, right? This was an OTM return. Got out with scalp. I should probably put that in with scalp. So I'm going to try to isolate that variable. So there will be a blank video out that'll have that trade in it, but I'll also be putting that out as a learning system using the OTM trade process, which is very important. Okay, I'm Max. This is Dex. I look forward to seeing you next time. And as always, trade well.